All right, thank you again, everybody, for coming. This turnout is fantastic. All right, yes, people are going to slowly file in, so we'll make room for them up front. I want to introduce myself. My name is Jim Seebach. I'm captain with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, and I'm over the Enterprise substation, which is responsible for this area. Before I go into a lot of details, there's a lot of people here that I want to thank and just acknowledge. First off, Kevin Fong, Sharon, Joe Shen from Chinatown, James Yu from the Asian Chamber of Commerce, Harsh Properties, Mindy Lloyd, Evan Louie from the Governor's Office, Pastor Frank Holland. A lot of good community partners that Metro has been working with that helped establish what we're doing here today. The purpose of why we're here is I'm going to hold roughly an introductory 1-hour meeting about Metro strategy and what we're doing in this area in the Asian community. So let me back up again. I've been with Metro roughly 22 years. I've worked in positions, obviously in patrol. I worked as a narcotics detective. I worked in K-9 for quite a long time. It was a great assignment. You always had a partner. He liked the radio the way you liked it. He liked the air conditioner the way you liked it. I promoted to sergeant and to lieutenant. I worked in the counterterrorism section. I worked in the northwest part of town, the southwest part of town, and in downtown area. And roughly over a year ago, I promoted to captain of Enterprise Area Command. So I've been very fortunate to work in this area and get to know a lot of all of you and good key community influencers, community supporters, and made a lot of friendships, and that's what I'm hoping to grow. So the purpose of today is I'm going to go over for roughly about a half hour of what Metro is doing in this area. And then I'm going to have some of my team introduce themselves, and then I'll tell you about what the next steps are and what we're asking from the community. So, as everyone knows, Sheriff Lombardo got elected and was sworn in roughly a month ago. And it's a small yet significant change he made was to rename the patrol division, which me and my team fall under, and rename it from Patrol Division to Tourist Safety Division and Community Policing Division. That small change was very significant in that that's the expectation that Sheriff Lombardo has for me and my team. That's his promise of what he said in his campaign that he's going to deliver, and that is more community engagement, more community coalitions to either build or grow existing relationships so that the issues that we face aren't just police issues, they're community issues. And so today, that's why we're here. We want to set the tone and the direction and share what we're doing. And then the emphasis through those changes builds the ownership on those concerns that everyone's going to bring forth. And as everyone might have seen over the summer, events in Ferguson. Just come on in, everybody. There's room for us. There's some seats up front. As everyone saw in Ferguson, Missouri, the time to establish relationships in the community is before things happen. The times to get engaged is before. So this way, when something does happen, we're already united and have one voice and can work together. So, as I said earlier during the introductions, we've been working with the Chinese American group, the Asian American group, the Asian Chamber of Commerce, Harsh Properties, Chinatown, a lot of different business owners in this area. And what we want to do is take things to the next level. At Enterprise Area Command, when I came there a year ago, we had a lot of officers doing a lot of things in a lot of areas. One of the things that I noticed during my assessment was there was an area of concern and issues for a myriad of reasons. There was a higher crime rate in areas not too far from here, behind the Spring Mountain area, along Tropicana. And so, getting together with my team, we set up a strategy. That strategy, we called it our neighborhood gateway. The reason why we called it that is if you were to look at the areas we focused in on, and it was I-15 to Decatur, roughly, Tropicana to Spring Mountain, that square area in the city is where we focused in at. If you look at the thoroughfares that come down into those areas, Tropicana, Flamingo, Spring Mountain, those thoroughfares, those gateways, are the avenues people come in off of I-15 to these neighborhoods where they work, where they live, where they visit, where they come and do business at. It is my desire, my station's desire, our team's goal to make that area as safe as possible. And so, starting last year, we enacted a strategy to do that. Enterprise Area Command is made up of roughly 350,000 people and 103 square miles. This area over here is where a lot of our emphasis was, because we saw in areas behind here and moving towards Tropicana, there was a disproportionate amount of crime. And so we wanted to resolve that and address that quickly. My job and my team's job is to reduce crime and be effective. We can't do that alone, and we recognize that as well. So with my community policing team, with the officers of my substation, we put a strategy in place to address that. Part of that strategy involved our enforcement, and that's the officers you see in the area in their black and white cars, sometimes on bicycles. And we started doing that predominantly in the neighborhood behind here, along Tropicana, and in between there along Flamingo. We asked our officers to start going to the apartments, to some of the cross streets, to some of the areas where there was issues there. We asked them to do some type of activity. And it wasn't necessarily make arrests. It was to make contact with the citizens, to be proactive, to be visible, to be seen in the community, and to begin to establish relationships or grow those relationships. In that area along Tropicana, there was roughly 4 businesses. We grew it to, I would say, give the number, about 8 to 10 businesses now that we meet with on a monthly basis, and I'll go into detail on that in a little bit. But with those relationships with those businesses, what we started hearing was information that wasn't being passed along to us through 911, through 311. And it's through relationships. It was through building up of that trust, and it was through our routine outreach to that business coalition along Tropicana. We started learning of other issues that were affecting the area as far as crime and disorder, and identifying the resources that were needed. We identified the people who needed them, and we brought those resources together. And we started to make an impact along Tropicana. Along Flamingo, we have a lot of the bigger hotels, and we started working with the security chiefs on a regular basis to identify the issues they're having for their patrons, for their customers, for their employees, and start identifying the crime issues and addressing those concerns. We worked with these apartments that are directly behind here, and let me tell you a little bit about this area. That area I described between Spring Mountain and Tropicana, between I-15 and Decatur, is made up of roughly 4,000 apartment units. The average income in that area is just below $45,000 for a family of 4. It's 4,000 apartments. There is no community center in that area. There is no supermarket, traditional supermarket. There is no school. There is no really place other than some of the management offices for a lot of those folks to call home. So in other words, it's a transitional community, and we're trying to establish a sense of community. That's where we started working with Pastor Frank Holland and his church. They were doing a lot of outreach to the single mothers. They were doing a lot of outreach to the families in that neighborhood. Again, 4,000 apartment units, so you can imagine the amount of families. All through last year, my team put together camps for those kids, and through some of those camps, especially during spring break, we gave them opportunities to be exposed to some sports, taking them on some field trips to the Discovery Museum, to the soccer complex. And through that interaction during spring break, we provided them box lunches. During that spring break, it was an eye-opener when a lot of the kids were asking us if they could take some of these box lunches home because their family wasn't going to eat, especially their older brothers and sisters who weren't eligible to go to some of these camps because of their age. And we started providing for them as well. So there's a lot of need in that area. One real telling story was I think she was 8 or 9-year-old little girl who wrote us a letter saying, I didn't look forward to spring break because I didn't want to be out of my house because she was afraid of her neighborhood. But because of the interaction, because of the stuff my team has been doing, because of our relationships in that community, because of the outreach done by Pastor Frank and a lot of the business in that area, she says she feels safer now. To continue on the next steps, we started looking along Spring Mountain. But before I talk about those next steps, let me share with you a little bit of what we did accomplish in that area and how we want to continue that. And that's why we're here today, is to continue those relationships. So forgive me if I talk a lot about numbers here real quick, but they are significant. When we looked for an accurate measure to see how successful our strategy was in reducing crime. In that area I just described to you, between 2013 and 2014, which just ended, so this is from December, we reduced homicides by 80% in that area. Sexual assaults by 44%. We reduced robberies, street robberies, where someone was held with a gun or their property was taken after being beat up. We reduced that by 28%. We did not lower the property crimes as much as we wanted. In fact, those went up. So unfortunately, we still have a lot of work to do in regards to that. When I say property crimes, I'm referring to auto burglaries and burglaries. So we were effective in reducing violent crime. We needed to reassess our strategy and how we can be more effective with our property crimes and continue to maintain the ground we gained in addressing violent crimes. So that's why we're here. The very next step that we want to do, because we've shown success working along with businesses along Tropicana, is to let you know and request to partner with each and every one of you in this room on a regular basis with the Asian Economic Community, or it's like what we like to call the Asian Economic Community Gateway. The gateway, again, from I-15, where people are coming to work, live, visit, shop. And we want to let you know what we're going to do to help make it safer, to help build up those relationships, because it's our desire through routine meetings, through routine interaction, that we'll be able to get information that we might not otherwise get without those relationships being built up. So you're going to start seeing some extra police cars. You're going to see some officers on foot. You see some officers on bicycles in this area. That's not because it's a bad area, it's because we're trying to make it safer. So we showed success statistically, and we did that with routine coverage, I guess you could say, round the clock on from my station, hitting some of those, what we call those micro hotspots or micro places. So moving forward, my leadership team at my substation got together, we did an assessment and saw what worked and where we needed to fix. And what we're going to do now is, I guess manpower-wise, as everyone knows, we're very short in our resources. Like a lot of businesses, you know, everyone likes to have more employees. We're no different. We have a limited number of officers, but if I use them as effectively as possible, I'm going to get more bang for my buck. If I have more information and intelligence coming in from the community, I'm going to be more effective in the results we achieve. So coming this year, at least for the next 3 to 6 months, and I'll evaluate it every 3 months to see how we're doing overall, we're going to double what we're officers coming into this area, especially Monday through Thursday, but the focus will be increased as well on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I brought people from the team that will be doing that. These are the team officers that are going to be interacting with your businesses and also interacting with you in our meetings. What we found successful with the businesses along Tropicana is to meet with them on a regular basis. So what we're going to suggest and ask, and hopefully we can continue this great attendance, is that you come back. We're going to rotate locations, but we're going to try to the last Thursday of every month, get the word out that we're going to meet and hold a meeting. For the first few months, some of the meetings will be agenda specific. Hey, this month we're going to talk about the issues of homelessness. This month we're going to talk about graffiti. This month we're going to talk about property crimes. In other words, the police department, under Sheriff Lombardo's administration, once again, under the Community Policing Division, doing outreach, wants to give to you, provide you what we can to help make your area safe. But it's through those interactions when we're here, especially when these meetings are done, that you can pull any one of my officers from my team or me aside and say, hey, here's what's going on. Because what we don't get sometimes is someone will let us know there's a homeless camp right around the corner, and that is really where that panhandler lives that is affecting my business. And without that knowledge, we might not have known that. Or hey, this business has been victimized and they're not reporting, and it's occurring during these hours. Well, that changes how we come and patrol this area, the times we come by, the resources we can bring in for those homeless folks, or the patrol presence in the area. And so it's that kind of information we're going to start to hopefully get from the community. So that's what we're asking of you. Excuse me one second. Next month we'll be meeting on the 26th at the Chinese American Group Community Center at Jones. And when we come to that meeting, we'll tell you the topic there. And but that doesn't mean that you have to wait to express your concerns that you're having in your area. My team is made up obviously of, at my substation, we have the officers that do the 911 calls, that do the enforcement. But we have outreach officers from our community policing team that I'll introduce to you here in a second. They can tell you a little bit about what they do. But my whole point behind all that is we're available. We're going to give you business cards. We're going to give you phone numbers. We're going to give you emails. I have a crime prevention specialist. She's the best in the police department, hands down. Her name is Bella. I'll introduce her as well. She can go out, and she'll tell you about it. I don't want to steal her thunder, but she can go out to your business for free and tell you crime prevention things that you could put in place to help your business be safer. We want to be able to address the concerns, because the biggest thing for everyone, I'm sure, in the audience is, what's in it for me? But what's in it for you is a better relationship with that police department, a better interaction, a better exchange of information, because as I get more information and intelligence about the issues or concerns going on, that accurate, timely intelligence and the rapid deployment of resources, me bringing more officers, is going to reduce crime. It's going to make us more effective and more efficient. And since we have limited officers, limited resources, we need to address community concerns by working with the community, not just on the backs of the police officers. And you need to be able to work with us so you don't have to try to overcome some of the issues that you're having. So it's to build that better partnership and those better relationships. So I'd like to take a moment now to bring up Sergeant Williams. He's my community policing sergeant, and he's going to tell you a little about his team. I'll come up at the end and close and take questions. And like I said, everybody, today was just an introductory meeting to let you know what we're going to try to do, to let you know about our increased presence. But again, put some faces to the names and set some expectations that you could have of us and hold us to that. So,
listen, I am happy to be here, you guys. I actually patrolled this area back in 1997 when we had the old area command right here up on Spring Mountain here, just east of Jones. And I can tell you the area has grown. And over time, I'll tell you, things are changing in the area here. A lot of times when we talk about community-oriented policing, some people are like, what is COP? Well, I'm going to tell you what COP is so you understand what we actually do. COP is truly partnering with the community, partnering with you guys to one where we share the responsibility to not only improve the quality of life in the area, but make it safe for you guys, for everybody, the business owners, the people who live here. That's the main goal. In order to do that, our goal is what we try to do is we try to, one, we have to reduce the crime. We have to reduce the fear of crime. Because there's a lot of people who are in fear of crime because, one, it happens and then they're shocked and they don't know what to do. Or guess what? The community won't even report that crime because they go, I just let it go. But guess what? If we don't report that crime, then that person is going to go victimize someone else. So it's important that we're here to help you guys do that. But the final component of that goal is the partnership. The partnership that we need, that we have to have with the community. Again, you guys, I'm Sergeant Williams. I am the sergeant over community-oriented policing. I'll tell you a little bit about my group. The captain is so passionate and so devoted and committed to your community. This community, the neighborhood gateway. He is actually increasing my squad. I currently have 6 officers right now and myself a sergeant. He is actually adding 2 more officers to be a part of my team. So we're going to have 8 officers in your area. He's even went to the extent to change our hours to make sure that we adjust to the community's needs. So we're going to be working from 12 in the afternoon to 10 at night to augment and overlap some of the other enforcement that the captain has brought on. So again, our captain is doing everything possible to bridge the gap through all communities because that is what truly works. It's a partnership. If we don't have that partnership, we have nothing. We need you. We need you. We can't do it alone. We really can't. And I can tell you, it's exciting when I get a chance to speak in different forums because you know what? It doesn't matter what we look like. It doesn't matter how we dress. What matters is that we care. And the one thing that the captain talks about is that people matter. That is one of his biggest things. People matter. And let me tell you, you matter. You matter. We want you to call us. We want to be there for everybody in this community. The other things that I want to talk about are some of the community things that we use in the community with community-oriented policing. We use county agencies. We use the faith-based community to come together and help us combat some of the issues. We use city business licensing, county business licensing. We use the neighborhood watch program. We use trespass programs. We use business trespass programs. There's a lot of things out there for the community so we can address your issues. I want to talk a little about a couple things. The trespass program, those things are important because you can actually sign up on a program where even when you're not at your business and someone's trespassing, we put the sign up, the NRS, on your building. In the after hours, we can actually either arrest or cite someone for sleeping behind your business or just trespassing or loitering. So it's important that we get you guys those programs so you know, so you can help us combat those issues that you guys are having in your community. We have the business trespass program because a lot of you own businesses here. But we can't do anything about it because we need that documentation so we can enforce the law. So we're gonna really be reaching out and talking to the businesses. You're gonna see my team walking around the business complexes. You're gonna see us driving. You're gonna see us out here. And my team, let me tell you, they're the A-team. They're the A-team. And listen, I can tell you right now, without them, I'm nothing. They get me to where I need to be, and then I get the captain where he needs to be. That is my function. That's what drives me. It's because I care. It's because I care. We talked earlier about the business coalitions. One of the business coalitions that we actually started was the Tropicana Business Coalition. And that coalition has evolved into a community partnership that is incredible. It's incredible. I'm going to introduce the first officer. I'm going to introduce is Officer Clint Weaver. He is going to be discussing or telling you about the Tropicana Business Coalition. Officer Clint Weaver.
Hello, everybody. I am the officer that's the liaison for the Trop Business Coalition. It's the same coalition that was started here. I noticed several of you have been to and visited our Trop Business Coalition. First of all, I would like to invite everybody to come, not only to your Asian coalition, but be part of the Tropicana Business Coalition. You're more than welcome to attend. It's your neighbors directly to the south of you, and your the local businesses and business partners. And some of the things we've already talked about. We share information, we share ideas, and we share solutions. And that's what it's all about. Getting the business together, talk about the issues that we have, because I don't like the word problems. I like the word issue, because issues are things that we can solve, we can work together, and we can see a resolution to those issues. Two things that we've changed, we've already talked about, starting 2015, is the districts. We've changed from, the Trop Coalition, it starts from as far east as Dean Martin and Decatur, Dean Martin's, and as we go up to west to Decatur. So Dean Martin to Decatur is the Trop Business Coalition. And that's a large area. We have a lot of businesses in that area. And what we've done is we've narrowed it down to districts, narrowed it down to blocks. And we've assigned our officers that work in COP to those certain districts. And within those districts, those officers will narrow down to one block size areas where we can personally come and visit each month, each one of your businesses. Talk to you about some of the issues you may be having, some ideas and so forth that we can share with other officers, that we can share amongst ourselves, and we can help solve some of these issues that we're having in that area. And I'm one of the officers that's going to be on the enforcement side. So the issues that you talk about, that you bring to me, I am going to help solve some of those issues and problems and so forth. I am going to be the boots on the ground. So if you address me with an issue or a problem that you may be having in your area, that evening, since we've changed our hours from 12 to 10, I will be the boots on the ground trying to help solve some of the issues that's taking place. One last thing real quick. The businesses that are established, we want to see nothing but for you to succeed. And for the new businesses that are coming into the area, same thing, succeed and to flourish. And that's probably one of the most important things that we would love to see in the Asian community, here at the Asian Mall, and over at Trop Coalition. Okay?
Thank you, Officer Weaver. Our next speaker is going to be Officer McDonald. He actually runs the ACE Coalition, and that's the Apartment Community Enrichment, which is actually right in your backyard. So Officer McDonald is going to speak now in reference to the ACE Coalition.
Hello, everybody. It's good to see some faces I know, especially that are involved with the ACE Coalition. And like my sergeant kept saying, ACE is Apartment Community Enrichment. So that's basically, it's in its name. We want to enrich the community. And, you know, I have a real passion for it. I've been working here in this area since I started, so about 5.5 years ago. This has been my area, and I've always been here in this area, which we call Paul 4. And so, what really touched home with me is, when I was a kid, I never had I was in and out of mobile homes and living in apartments on the streets and stuff like that. And it really struck home because when I see these kids, they're kind of saying, I was looking, it's like a reflection of me. And so what caught me was you need a net. And if I can be that net for those kids, that's what I'm here for. So what the ACE Coalition is we started up with nonprofit and profit corporations or businesses, and what we do is we do events, and we create a better enrichment for that area. Like our captain was saying, Pastor Holland and his wife, they are an integral part in the faith-based stuff. They've done stuff as far as called the Singles Mothers Outreach, where they go in there in the neighborhood with the single moms, and they give them, they reach out and they get everything. If they need clothes, if they need mentoring, if they need rides here and there to places, that's what their group does, and it's established from ACE. And they also have a program which we're doing called the ART program, where they actually we're getting kids prepared for school. Right when that summer months come, these kids they're sitting there all summer. They don't have education. They're just having fun playing around, or hopefully not getting into trouble. But they bring them in, and we go through a week, 2 weeks, and we give them education to uplift them, and we do fun activities and games. Meanwhile, we also do other things, which we've done the summer sports camps, where we've done a 3-day camp where we took them to the Discovery Museum, and then after that we took them to a soccer field to do an Easter egg hunt. We've done that last spring. There's several. We've done so much fun stuff. It's awesome that we do soccer games, football games. We get in there. We also got into the community, and we've done with Clark County we did an art program. And it was 2 months, and every Thursday they met. And on these Thursdays, they will meet and they'll do art projects. And then on the final day, which was at the end of the month, one of the months, and they did a huge billboard, 8 feet by 4 foot. It was really cool. You guys have to see it. I have some pictures over there on that table. You guys can look at it, what they've done. But it's just neat. They have that, and we're there for them. We're support for them, and most importantly, it's the community that's supporting them. We're there. We're there for moral support, any type of educational stuff too, because we're trying to guide them to grow into the right path instead of going into the criminal aspect. And then we also started stuff as far as we've done security fairs, where we go down there, we block off a whole street on biking, and we load it up with anything that is educational. UMC, Boys and Girls Club. We have the Care Coalition. I see them here today. We have several things where it's all educational things for the families and the children. And so we're out there, we're trying to grow and just to make this bigger and bigger each and every day as we're out there influence this group back here. And one of the things that we hit on was we had surveys. We had Southern Nevada Strong came out here and did a survey. And it's just, some of the things that we rely on, like transportation, food, and even just like community centers, faith-based places, we don't have them here. So us getting together, we're trying to build it so we can grow that coalition. So if you guys have any questions about that, please get a hold of me. I'm gonna be over here, and like that, what Captain was saying about the thank you letters, I know it's in there somewhere, that thank you letter about the little girl. saying that because it was really sweet because she was so excited. Every day she was at that door when we were ready for our event. She was there. It started at 8. She was there at like 7:15. Like, hey, are we ready? I'm like, okay, we'll go. So it's neat to see these children. So put a smile on their face. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, please, I'm over there and just come see me. Thank you again.
One thing that we like to offer to the community is someone very special. Like when the captain says she is the very best at what she does, I will back that 110%. And I want to introduce you to our crime prevention specialist, Bella.
Hi everybody, I'm your crime prevention specialist. Okay, so job description. What does a crime prevention specialist do? Well, I work with residents in the community. I run Neighborhood Watch, I run crime-free multi-housing in our areas, and I work with businesses. What some of the services that I offer is I can come out and I can do a security survey of your business and I can target harden you. So you're less likely to have a robbery, or there's certain things that you can do to make you less likely to become a victim. So it's free of charge. All you have to do is book an appointment with me and I'll come out and do the survey for you. In the back there, I just wanted to tell everybody, I have a business crime prevention tips. There's tips for your employees and stuff. And then there's also a robbery prevention checklist in here, so you can do it yourself. And then the last page on here is a commercial robbery identification form on here. And I suggest everybody takes copies of this and leaves this by your register. That way the employees, if anything were to happen, this is the information that the dispatchers need in order to catch the bad guy. In the back too, I have a brochure here which is really good. This is specifically what the dispatchers need, the information that they need. So if you go over it ahead of time, you kind of have it in the back of your head that if you do view a crime, you're able to get the correct information and then call us, is what you want to do. And then I have other forms and stuff like that too. So does anybody have any questions about crime prevention or security surveys or anything like that? No? Okay. My services are there for you.
Okay, and I can tell you she is special and she's good at what she does. If you guys need her, call her. She's like 7-Eleven. She's open 24/7. At this time, I would like to, because of your community and how it's grown, I want to introduce someone special who's actually going to be your liaison in the community. It's going to be Officer Luke Del Rosario.
Hello everyone. Everybody knows me as Officer Luke. You guys can call me Luke, that's fine. My main goal is to break this police versus the public, all that Ferguson stuff, and to build this relationship that we have. So if you see me, whether it be in regular clothes, uniform, or whatever it is, Officer Luke or Luke is fine. I know they've been talking about all the programs we have, and Sergeant Williams and Bella explained about everything. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself, because I will be the direct liaison for this area. Again, my name is Luke Del Rosario. I've been on the department for almost 6 years here. I did 2 years in Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, where I'm from, California. My mother and my father are both from Manila, Philippines, and they also lived in Hong Kong and Vietnam. The reason why I'm explaining this is because we do have another program in our COP section called the ALERT Team, and it stands for the Asian Liaison Education Response Team, and that's where I'm assigned. So I'm assigned to give you the information you need, and I'm your direct link, the chain between you guys and the police department. But what I really wanted to do is to combine together. So Officer Weaver talked about the Tropicana Business Coalition, and we're kind of mimicking the same thing. We're breaking up into 2 different districts, District A and District B, and officers will be assigned to each district. Now that doesn't mean if one officer is not assigned to A or B, you can't come up to us. I want you to pull on their uniform and ask us, hey, what do we need to do? What do we need to do? You don't need to wait for a meeting or anything else like that. We will be walking around, and I want that communication between us. Like my sergeant always says, everybody who works in anything they do needs a PhD, okay? And I take that very valuable to my heart. It means passion, hope, and dedication on whatever you do. So that's what I'm asking for you, okay? Because that's what I'm going to give you. I have a passion for this. We all have to hope together. It will succeed. The dedication. I'm going to give you as much dedication as I can for everything to work out here for your businesses, for the crime to reduce, and for especially the relationship between us and you to come together and to work together, not only as the police department and the public, but as one unity to solve the crimes and the issues here in this area. Again, if you do have any questions or anything like that, I'll make it quick. I just wanted to explain who I was. I will stay after the meeting and I'll answer anything you guys want, okay?
So as my team knows, when I tell everyone we're going to be there an hour, we will be here an hour. I want to respect everyone's time. It's very valuable. Moving forward, I'm going to get what I asked for, I hope. In other words, I want to hear all the issues. I want to hear your concerns. I want us to be overwhelmed and have to try to start prioritizing what we have to go after. But more importantly, I want to get to know each and every one of you. The results that I talked about earlier weren't done through me. They were done through the community and through a good chunk of this team here. I'm very privileged that I get to work side by side with these officers. We describe what we call our neighborhood gateway. Tropicana Business Coalition, our security chiefs along Flamingo, our ACE area, and now I'm proud to represent the Asian Economic Community Gateway along Spring Mountain. So I look forward to working with each and every one of you. The Asian population in Las Vegas, according to the latest census, was 9.5%. The African American population in the valley is at 11%. The Asian population in the area that I just spoke about earlier is roughly 16%. So there's a significant Asian component, community component that we want to work with, and we desire to help reduce the crime in this area. So for those of you who might need to go, thank you so much for coming. My whole team and I will be here for questions. Is there any questions before I break everyone up? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. How do you handle the language situation?
We do our best with the language situation. Obviously, the goal for any police department, to include Metro's goal, is to eventually have a police department that's representative of the community. But that is a work in progress. And so, like all of you, we find ways to communicate through translators, through family, through friends. We do have some officers that speak Mandarin, but we don't necessarily speak all the dialects, and we don't necessarily have them all on our team. But at the end of the day, we will stay until we can find a way to communicate and work that out. So we're working towards that.
Thank you.
Yes. Anyone else?
Captain, when is the next meeting?
The next meeting I know is going to be on the 26th.
26th.
We're going to have it at Kevin's place at, what's the
Yeah,
exact address?
6330 Spring Mountain.
6330 Spring Mountain. We'll send out the same notices. As you know, we're keeping the emails and the numbers in the back so we can either text or email everyone and continue to grow that relationship. My officers are here with their phone numbers, their cards, and to hear your concerns as well.
Same time?
Same time. We'll put the time out there probably in the afternoon. If we're not getting the turnout or it's inconvenient, we'll start getting feedback and we'll adjust the times as needed. But for now, hopefully I see everyone here in a month, and thank you so much again for your time and coming today. Thank you.
Thank you.